Today I will try to speak about the most famous band from Brazil, and I'm speaking about Sepultura. Of course, today we know that Brazil is one country with many metal bands. We have also Ankara, we have also their power metal, of course. We have also Crisium from death metal. We have many thrash old school thrash metal bands or raw thrash metal bands as Vulcanos, Mystifier, as Sarcophago, and as old school Sepultura. But in any case, Sepultura continue to be the most famous band from Brazil. Okay, Sepultura, they have until today 14 albums, and we can speak about two periods of them: the period until Max Cavalera and the period after Max Cavalera, or after, if we are even more specific, we can say that we have the first period of that they are more raw thrash metal band until their second album, Schizophrenia. Afterwards, they became a little bit more classical thrash metal from Mediator Remains until Arise. Afterwards, they became a little bit more tribal and more hardcore with Chaos AD, and of course with the album Roots, they became even more tribal and groovy, and they continue this style. Max Cavalera left the band after the album Roots, and they continue this style even until our days. And this is, we can also say that Iggor Cavalera continued to be in the band until the album Nation. And afterwards, he left the band. And this is a big question: how have today Sepultura without the brothers Cavalera? The brothers Cavalera, they were the heart, and they were the forefathers of the band, the leaders of the band. In any case, and that today Sepultura, they are under the leadership of the guitarist Andreas Kisser. In any case, from the other hand, we have also Soulfly of Max Cavalera, and today also of Iggor Cavalera. We have also Cavalera Conspiracy, together Max and Iggor. And we had also another project, Nail Bomb, with one album, Point Black. So, in any case, today we come to speak only about Sepultura in all their periods, in all their albums. And I will try to rank their albums from worst to best in my personal opinion. So, in the 14th place for me comes the album Against of 1998. For me, this was also the album that came out after Roots, after Max Cavalera left the band. Here for first time, Derek Green, the new in this year's singer, comes on. He's a very good singer also. And for me, this album, we can understand that the band, they are not in their focus, in their form 100%. Also here, Twisted from the bassist of Metallica of these years played a song. Now, in the 13th place, for me, comes the album of 2003, and speak about the album Rurbach. Okay, here a little bit they played more with punk and hardcore influences. In the 12th place, I will put the album Dante XXI, if I'm not sure. This is the name of the album. Here they try to be a little bit more thrashy, but okay. it's okay. It's an okay album, but I will put it in this place. 11th place for me comes the album of 2009, and speak about the album Alex or Alex, is a game of the words. Also a very good album for me. Also here we have hardcore and punk influences, but this is even better than even better than Rurbach. In the 10th place comes the album of 2013. For me was also, this is also the album one before the last album until now, with also the album with the most long title until now for Sepultura, like Balsaco, that they have big titles in their albums and their songs. So the album is called The Mediator Between Head and Hands Must Be the Heart. A good album, a phrasy album, okay, but I will put it in this place. Now, in the 9th place for me comes their last album of 2017. I'm speaking about the album Mass in Messiah. Here they try to be a little bit different. We have some songs that they are even more doom, but it's a good album. In the 8th place for me comes the album of 2011. I'm speaking about the album Kairos or Keros, is a Greek word. In any case, the meaning of the word is time, let's say. So here we have the most thrashy album of their last period, and for me it's a very, very good album. In the 7th place for me comes the album Nation. This is also the last album that Iggor Cavalera played the drums in this album. Afterwards, Iggor Cavalera also left the band. Now, this album came after Against, and it's very, very, it's better than Against. I know that there are people that will not prefer this album so much, but for me, in the year that came out, it was very close to my heart, so until now I will put it in this place. Now, from now and afterwards, we speak about the 6 more classical albums of Sepultura, and maybe here will be more opinions that are not going with my opinion. Okay, in the 6th place, I will put the album Chaos AD of 93. Okay, the album is good. Also, here we have also tribal sounds in this album. The tribal sounds started a little bit in a rise one album before, became here more strong, and even stronger afterwards. Of course, in the album Roots that came afterwards. So, in the 5th place for me comes the album Roots. A very important album, not only for Sepultura, but for all the history of metal. I know that many old school thrashers, they didn't like the album. Here, Sepultura became tribal, became more groove, less thrash, okay? And this album was one of the most important influences, together with Machine Head, together with Pantera, to the nu metal that came afterwards, and even afterwards to the metalcore scene. But in any case, this album is so good. I prefer it a little bit even more than Chaos AD. And this is also the last album of Max Cavalera. Afterwards, Max Cavalera left the band and he started with Soulfly. In the 4th place, for me, comes their debut album, their first album. And I'm speaking about the album of 86, and I'm speaking about the album Morbid Visions. And if we speak about Morbid Visions, we can see also from the title the influence of Celtic Frost. But also we have to speak about their EP, their first EP, Bestial Devastation. Here, okay, together with of 85. And here we have also the first logo of the band, very raw, very occult. And afterwards the more classical first logo of the band that continued also in the album Schizophrenia afterwards. The album, okay, there are people that don't like the album because of the production or because of its rawness. The album is very raw thrash metal of these years, occult raw thrash metal. And I said this album, together with works of Vulcano, together with works of Mystifier and of Sarcophago, together also with works of the first albums and EPs of the German thrash metal bands as Sodom, as Destruction, as Creator, and even as Necronomicon. All these bands, together with influences of Venom, of Celtic Frost and Hellhammer, and even from Merciful Fate, they were the big influence of the black metal, or the first wave of black metal that came afterwards. In the third place, for me, comes their second album of 87. I'm speaking about the album Schizophrenia, a very good album with very good songs, as From the Past Comes the Storms, To the Wall, Escape to the Void. Also, we have also Troops of Doom. They played it also in the Morbid Visions, but here we have another version of this song. A very good album. And if I'm not sure, if I'm not wrong, this was also the first album that Sepultura became a little bit more famous outside of Brazil. Now, in the second place, and here I have to say that for me, second place and first place, they're very close to each other. For me, in the second place, and I know that many people will prefer it in the first place, comes the album Arise. One of the most famous Sepultura albums, and if someone that does know Sepultura, for me he has to start from this album. A very good album with very good songs: Arise, Dead Embryonic Cells, Desperate Cry. And so also here we have a very good cover of Motorhead. I'm speaking about the song Orgasmatron, a very good cover of Motorhead. This together with the cover of Sodom of Motorhead and of the song Iron Fist. Okay, they're even very good cover songs of Motorhead. In any case, we have a so good album with also with a very good cover. The same artist that make also the cover of Beneath the Remains, and also of Cause of Death of Obituary. A very good album. And now, in the first place, for me, comes their third album, Beneath the Remains. Why I put it in this place? This was on the 89. Yeah. Why I put it in this place? Because this is the first Sepultura album that I listened first, but also the first thrash metal album that I was in touch with it for the first time. And I remember myself in these years that I became a metalhead, that I started to listen metal with bands as Skyclad, as Metallica. Afterwards came Megadeth, Iron Maiden, Halloween, Scorpions, Faith No More, and then Sepultura. And okay, I knew that there's another scene of thrash metal, but I didn't listen it. And when I first put this, I had it in a cassette, again, a tape. I put the tape in my Walkman in these years. I thought that the tape was not working good because it was very fast. I saw that everything's okay about the tape. So I said to myself, "Wow, how they play so fast!" And this is my first connection with Sepultura and with thrash metal until now. So for me comes this album in the first place with songs as Beneath the Remains, Inner Self, Stronger Than Hate, Mass Hypnosis, Slaves of Pain, of course, Primitive Future. For me, this is a masterpiece. Together, of course, with Arise. So from Israel, from Jerusalem, stay metal and stay heavy.